Line through to Dharamsala. Is that how I say it, Doull? Dharamsala?
Dharamshala.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we have got the connection here because we were trying to connect last night and couldn't actually talk to each other. And so the WhatsApp is working. So let's max it while we can, mate. Whereabouts is that in India? Every time we talk to you, you're in another part of the continent.
Right up the top, Marty. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Basically, backdrop of the Doull mountain range, which is part of the Western Himalayas, about 300 kilometres from K2, if as the crow flies, if you sort of want to put that into perspective.
Wow. So the view that you get is outstanding. Again, Is this that place where the ground looks like it's a Buddhist temple? Is that ground, is it?
That's exactly it. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of monks up in the area. A place called McLeod Gunj, which Ganj. So a lot of tourists flock to McLeod Gunj on a regular basis. Get some heavy snowfall through the winter. Quite a cool place, but amazing through the summer as well. So really popular touristy spot, and popular spot for those who are seeking a slightly alternative life as well, I might say.
Okay, well, I'm just adding Ganj, put an A on the end of it, and you know what I'm talking about.
Well, there is plenty of that available as you walk the streets of McLeod Gunja.
Okay, I love it when Flem takes it up the chart. CSK lost there at the top of off the top of the table.
Yeah, they are. Look, they still got one game to go, obviously. 15 points might get them through. They're joined with LSG at the moment on 15. Gujarat Titans have qualified. They will definitely finish 1 or 2, and they're last year's champions. So it's been another really good season for them so far. And then it's kind of down to, amazingly, Marty, it will definitely come down to that last game of the round robin, which will be the RCB game to see if they can win. So that's sort of Mike Hesson's lot. Michael Bracewell got a game in the last game and bowled well for them. So it'll come down to that very last round robin game that RCB play to see who qualifies. So it's crazy how it works out, mate. It really is. After 70 games, we're still going to wait till the last to see who that fourth qualifying spot might be.
So everyone plays 14 games, people. At the moment, we're talking about the IPL with Simon Doull, who's up in India, of course. Look, GT have won 9 games. Then the next 3 have won 7, and then the next 4 have won 6 games. That's how tight it is. And I'm looking at the recent form, and you know how you do it with the Premier League, and you look at bloody Man City, and it's just win right across the board, or your Liverpool have done the same. No one's managing more than 2 matches on the trot, Simon. Why is that?
The toughness of the competition, the quality of the competition. Home and away advantage hasn't been as relevant this year because we haven't played home and away for 4 years almost, due to COVID, due to last year we only played in Mumbai, so it hasn't been as relevant. So teams have found it hard to string wins together at home and then travel away and just pick up the odd win. So the quality of the players, the quality of the competition, I think, it just means that you cannot slip up. Any one little slip up. Rajasthan, I thought, were a crack outfit. They looked a really good side, and they come up against RCB the other day and just get bundled out for 58. And they just had an off day. RCB had an on day. And that's the sort of thing that can happen in this comp. The quality of the bowling and the batting is so good.
Dooley, is there any pointer from what we're seeing in the IPL towards the one-day World Cup? It's probably a long bow to draw, but I'm just thinking, okay, it's a limited overs format. We're seeing the best players in the world. They're playing in those conditions.
Look, I think any time you can get to operate or play in these conditions, in similar type conditions that we will encounter in October, November this year, their temperatures will be slightly different. It won't be quite as warm, but you're still playing on the grounds that you are going to play at through a World Cup. So I think every possible opportunity that every player gets can certainly make a difference. Now, there's a couple of the South African boys have really played. Heinrich Klaasen has been incredibly good. I'm not going to talk too much about the Indian guys because they just play in these all the time. But Marcus Stoinis has had a good tournament. Glenn Maxwell has had a good tournament. Bodes well for Australia. They haven't had Zampa's had a decent time when he's played. Hazelwood's just come back into the RCB side, and is looking okay again. So the Aussies have had some good performances across the board. They've had a couple of guys that haven't performed. I saw an article the other day. I think that Trent Boult will be definitely considered. It was at a parting sort of David White comment. I know he's a little way from leaving, but he definitely said that he would be considered. So, I mean, if he's getting experience up here that he sort of has had for many, many years, that just those little things that guys can pick up from playing at all these grounds will certainly help as we lead to that World Cup later in the year.
Yeah, well, that was how I was going to finish, mate. Trent Boult, and no surprise at all, he's put his hand up. I mean, everyone wants to play the world events. Everyone wants to be on the biggest stage. Everyone wants to play where the lights are the brightest. And again, I've flipped and flopped about this when it comes to the Black Caps playing in a one-day World Cup, and given how close we've got in the past, and thinking that this guy was such a strike weapon, why the hell not use him? At the same time, he turned his back, and he's allowed to do that, and we've discussed that at length. But I get pragmatic about this, mate, and I just think, look, let's put our best team on the park. Where do you sit?
Yeah, I sit the same way, Marty. Look, I mean, the Black Caps cannot afford to be the All Blacks. They don't have... we don't have, sadly, the legacy that the All Blacks have. And the jersey is not as much of a pull, but we're still seeing All Blacks that take sabbaticals. I mean, what is the difference from an All Black going overseas for a year to Japan to make a whole lot of coin to what Trent Boult's doing? He's still available. They just haven't picked him. He was available for a test match that he was 5 minutes down the road, and they didn't pick him. So it's not like he has turned his back and said, I'm not going to play for a year, or I'm not going to play domestic cricket in New Zealand for a year. I'm available, but I'm going to play these other tournaments around the world. So, I'm in the camp of he's got to play. If he's fit and ready to go, then he is definitely in my starting 11 for that World Cup, and has to be.
All right, mate. So where are you after this? So you're there tonight. Where do you go next?
Heading back. I'm on the way to the airport now, so I'm coming down the mountain at the moment, and on the way to the airport and back to Mumbai. I've got a studio tonight, and then my last game will be Sunday afternoon, which is the Mumbai Indians' big clash on Sunday afternoon. Their last game is against the Sunrisers Hyderabad, which is Glenn Phillips' team. So that will come down to whether Mumbai probably qualify or not as well in the heat. So it'll be about 42, 43 degrees in Mumbai on Sunday afternoon. And that's my last game before the playoffs. There's 2 in Chennai and then 2 up in Ahmedabad where the final will be played. When
we talk next week, maybe it will be known as to who is going to get those 2 Champions League spots. We've got Bournemouth, and I know I teased you about that, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite my backside.
I know, mate. I know. Look, I think you've still got you're the inside running, haven't you? You've got the inside running.
We've got the inside running, mate, yeah.
And yeah, you have, and I think it's a bridge too far for us now, Marty. But even though the last few weeks have been a lot better than the middle of the season.
Doull out of India for us. Thank you, Simon. So special to have you on the program every week, mate. Does it for absolutely free, and we get in touch with him every single place he seems to go in the world, which is all over the globe, doing cricket, and appreciate it thoroughly.